The way you see yourself and the world around you determines how you interact with both. Your perceptions shape your reality at every level and in every single aspect of your life. As a result, your perceptions have a powerful impact on your effectiveness and fulfillment in life, and it's even more accentuated for leaders. This is why taking control of how you choose to see yourself and the world around you is so important. So let's talk about two of the most common perspectives or mindsets: zero sum and rising tide. Now, there are all kinds of great examples and explanations about both these ideas online, so I'm not going to go into a tremendous amount of detail on that front. But just to make sure that we're on the same page, here's how I would define the two ideas. Zero sum. Zero sum is built on the idea that if you win, someone else has to lose. It is built on the belief that there's a limited amount of any resource and that can only be divided up so much. The typical example is pie. So the name of the game is to get as much for yourself as you possibly can. That is, get the biggest slice of pie that you possibly can. The zero-sum perspective is also sometimes called the scarcity mindset. Rising tide. On the other side of the spectrum is rising tide. The idea that a rising tide lifts all boats. So when one person wins, others often can and do win as well. Their success does not necessarily have to come at the expense of someone else. In fact, as one person wins, it actually creates opportunities for others to win too. Sometimes there's no tangible limit when the rising tide model is applied. Other times there most definitely is a tangible limit on the resource, but starting with the belief that there has to be a win-win and applying a little creativity and ingenuity oftentimes allows everyone to recognize more value from maybe a different angle or in another way than they initially thought. In short, rising tide is built on the belief that there's no limit to the amount of gain any one person can obtain. And the most important distinction, any gain does not have to come at another person's expense. Following the pie example, the idea is that the pie just keeps growing, or you just make another pie. The ultimate conclusion here is that there's no reason to hoard or take from others. As such, the rising tide idea is also called an abundance mindset. Now, all of this is super philosophical and heady, so why does it matter? Well, let's take a look at how life turns out when you make decisions from either one of these two perspectives. Here are some attributes I've observed. Zero-sum mindset typically creates missed opportunities, burned bridges, and adversarial relationships. Zero-sum mindset typically produces personal isolation, emptiness, a lack of fulfillment, and scarcity in most forms, especially in the things that really matter in life. Now you can maybe start to see why there's so many successful people who are so unfulfilled or angry or just all alone. Maybe it's because they gain their success at the expense of others, and now they have no one left to enjoy it with. Rising tide mindset typically creates new and unexpected opportunities, additional connections, and giving relationships. The rising tide mindset typically produces trust and deep friendships, personal fulfillment, and an abundance in the things that actually matter. Now you might see why success, by all definitions, seems to flow naturally to those who are living a life in service to others or generally a giving person. So when you look at how you interact with the world, keep this in mind. If you stop to look at yourself, you'll notice that you typically gravitate intuitively to one of these two mindsets over the other. Now, your mindset determines the smallest interactions we have with work and the people we interact with. The most important thing to remember is that you get to decide which worldview or perspective you're going to adopt. With this understanding, you can shape your interactions with others to build the life you desire and achieve the results you seek. The choice is yours. What mindset do you choose?